when I normally think about the structure of the term, I choose a topic and then I connect how children can learn about that subject or that topic through movement. So the improvisation tasks are structured. So it's not always, I mean, sometimes we do this, but it's not simply coming into the room, putting on music and asking the children to move to the music. So it refers to, I suppose, an aspect of physical literacy where they're learning about a topic through movement. So, for example, I might choose electricity, and then the children will learn about switches on and off. This is for the younger children, switching on and off, the kind of materials that conduct electricity, and then about insulating and why wires would have to be insulated. So the children have their own ideas about that, but then how can they conduct movement through their body in a very dynamic way, and how would they show the idea of insulation through movement? So not only are they learning about something that perhaps they haven't done at school yet, but they're also looking at how movement consolidates that knowledge and that information. So, for example, we also, I think it's important to connect subject areas across a curriculum. So this term we're looking at art and sculpture, and we've done some research around that. So we were looking at the artist Andy Goldsworthy, and we were looking at how he uses sticks as a form of sculpture. So the children are looking at long, pointy, sharp movements, and then they're looking at how their body can break down like twigs would break in a storm or in the wind. So these tiny, minuscule movements, and then we're looking at how it looks like in the sculptures, the twigs are balancing. So different points that they're balancing with their body. Can they balance with one arm and one leg? Can they balance in a low position? Can they balance in a high position? And looking at how, for example, ice, if Andy made an ice sculpture, well, what would happen when the sun comes out? Well, it melts. So then we're looking at how things transform. So you can realize that for children, they can connect the dots up, if you like, that they're learning information, but also they're learning, because they're learning about it through movement, they can make sense of science, nature, art, sculpture through their bodies, which I think is, when you're a child, is very important, that you're still situating yourself in the real world, and that school and knowledge doesn't just become something that has to happen in their head, that it can also happen in the rest of their bodies. And it enriches their experience of the world, because they start to notice things. So I might say to them, well, why don't you look at the tree in your garden and look at the formation of the twigs without the leaves, and then now that summer is here and the spring has arrived, how different does your tree look now? And then they can bring that into the dance lesson. So something that's real, that's in their very garden, can then live through their body. And so I think that becomes a very different experience for children. I always remember a teacher saying to me, your body isn't there to move your head around, which I think sometimes children think that happens at school, that their body is just something that they can walk from the classroom to classroom, and their body's there with its own intelligence as well as their mind. And then when you connect the two things together, I think you can get something quite brilliant.